Hello and welcome to Prenatal Yoga. Today I really want to focus on stretching out the hips and the lower body, which will help eliminate back pain. So let's go ahead and get started. Seating in easy pose. Inhale, lift your arms up over your head, and then as you exhale, take a nice side bend, peeking under your armpit, and then on your inhale, reach back to center. Exhale, switch sides. Allow the hip to fall to the ground. And if you notice that your one hip is lifting up on one side, you can always use the block to lower yourself down. So really think about extending and lengthening through your side and release the tension that you may be holding on to. Switch sides last time. Go ahead and unfold your legs. We're just going to drop one knee to the center and then the other. So you're getting a nice stretch on the outside of the hip here. Take a nice wide stance to make room for your baby. And even sitting up on a block can help this be a little bit more comfortable and to get your pelvis in a nice position. It's completely up to you. Go ahead and bring your feet together so you're in butterfly pose, and then we're just gonna hinge forward any amount so you get an additional stretch in the inner thighs. You can use the weight of your arms or your elbows to work your knees closer to the ground. You can flutter your knees in and out to get yourself deeper into that stretch. And then when you're ready, we're gonna move through a couple cat-cows in a seated pose. So you're gonna inhale, bring your chest forward and your pelvis. Exhale, round your back as if you're an angry cat. And then you're gonna transition onto all fours. And we're gonna just do a couple pelvic tilts here. So you're dropping your pelvis forward as if you're dumping out a bucket of water. And then you're rounding your spine, tucking your tailbone down between your legs. Go ahead and lift your weight up onto your toes, draw your hip points up towards the ceiling, and come into a downward dog pose. If it feels good for you, you can bend the knees and straighten them and slowly work on pedaling your heels down towards the ground. Be mindful to keep those hip points lifted. And on your next breath, slowly walk your feet up to the front of your mat. Take your legs nice and wide and then allow your upper body just to release and forward fold. On your inhale, lift with a flat back and then exhale, fold forward once again. Take a small micro bend in the knees and slowly roll up one vertebrae at a time, reaching your arms right up towards the ceiling. Exhale, take your knees nice and wide, drop your hips down in a Matsyana pose. Place your left hand on the floor and reach your right arm up towards the ceiling. Opening it, getting a small twist in the spine, switching sides. And then just go ahead and step your right leg and then your left leg back into plank. Bending and lifting the hip points right back up towards the ceiling so you're feeling more comfortable with downward facing dog. Then slowly walk yourself up to the front of your mat. Big bend here, allow your upper body to relax. On your inhale, nice flat back here. Exhale, forward fold. Once again, small micro bend in the knees, slowly roll up one vertebrae at a time with a nice big stretch at the top. As you exhale, have a seat back into Matsyana, yoga squat, and then reach one arm up towards the ceiling and then the other. So you're feeling a nice stretch, a small twist, not anything too big. Step back into plank, and whatever way feels comfortable for you, arrive in downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the right leg up towards the sky, take a small bend in the knee, turning the hips outward. You're going to feel an additional stretch when you do so. Straighten out the leg and then sweep it through. So you're coming into a pigeon pose. Now, using blocks here can help you work into pigeon pose slowly and also just give you a buffer, because as that baby grows, you'll find that there's less space for you to fold over. We don't want to squish the baby, so you can use those blocks to elevate yourself up off the ground. And here, just focus on your exhales. Think about sinking deeper into the stretch with every exhale that you have. If you feel comfortable to do so, press yourself up and reach back for your back leg or your toe, so you can get a big stretch in king pigeon, stretching through the front of the leg, the quads. And then when you're ready, press yourself back into plank position and meet your way into downward facing dog. Other side, lifting your left leg up and bending at the knee, opening up through the hip. If that feels good for you, you don't want to do this too often. It does put a lot of pressure on the lower back. Exhale, draw your leg in, sweep it under, and once again, settle into pigeon pose. Think of every breath you take. It's nice, cool air surrounding the joints. And you exhale, letting go of the heat, the tension that you're holding on to. Press yourself into a elevated position and reach back for your foot for king pigeon. Then once again, release the foot. Take your time to transition back into downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your right leg once again. And this time I just want you to take your leg to the outside of your hands. So you're in lizard pose, and you're welcome to lower down onto the blocks here or onto the ground if you feel comfortable in lizard pose. And you can even drop your back leg right down onto the ground. Once again, bring that awareness to your breath and use your breath to soften, to allow your body to release areas that are tight. Press yourself back up and shift your weight back so you're coming into a half split. And you can even use your hand to pull your toe towards your shin, getting an additional stretch in the calf. When you're ready, transition back into downward facing dog. Lift the left leg this time. Once again, step your leg to the outside of your hands and lower yourself down into pigeon by dropping your back leg to the mat and lowering your forearms to the ground. When you're ready, go ahead and press yourself back up onto one knee and then sink your hips back so you're pulling the toe towards the shin. You're going to feel a stretch all the way through the back side of your leg, your hamstring and your calf. Shift your weight forward, move through your chaturanga if you want to, or just come into downward facing dog. Slowly walk your feet to the front of the mat, having a seat on your bottom. And then we're going to position the blocks for a resting pose. Supta Baddha Konasana, and I'm using the blocks here to elevate my upper body. You can do this with pillows if you don't have blocks, or a blanket. We're doing bridge pose. So I'm just lifting my upper body up and driving the heels down through the floor, pressing the hips up towards the sky and engaging the glutes. So we're working the backside body, strengthening the glutes, which will take some of the pressure or pain that you're feeling in the lower back off. Lower your hips to the ground. And meet me back in that starting pose, easy pose. Crossing one leg on front of the other. as if you have two logs stacked on top of each other. And then you're going to shift your weight over your leg, keeping a flat back. And really allowing yourself to fully relax in this pose. And go ahead and switch sides. So you're going to stack the legs. Once again, opposite leg on top. And with a flat back, your pelvis will tilt as you do this. It comes over your hips and you shift your weight forward to get an additional stretch in the hip. Go ahead and unfold the legs, revisiting butterfly once again with a nice solid base on the ground. Your hip points are touching the ground, and you can take the legs close to your hip points for more of a stretch. If you don't have the flexibility, just scoot your feet out a little bit more and then fold forward. Once again, getting additional stretch in the inner thighs. Go ahead and roll those shoulders back, stretch out your head and neck, release any other areas that you may feel tension and tightness. Thank you so much for joining me today for this yoga. I hope you continue to practice and feel good, taking care of yourself and your baby. Have a great day.